you're watching Sports Zone with me, Nazia. Futsal, the new sport on the rise for the youth in the Himalayan hill state of Sikkim. Yes, you heard it right. 3 players from the state have scored 9 goals for the Indian futsal team at C20 Futsal World Cup in Colombia in November. Accompanied by the Indian futsal team coach Vishal Chetri, a 10-year veteran in futsal. Ashwin Rai, Boxer Pradhan and Sanjay Chopal Bhutia were the only scorers for India in the World Cup, which had 12 countries participating in it. The 3 Sikkimese players and the coach who were part of the Indian futsal team, which competed in the Under-20 Futsal World Cup in Colombia, have returned home after making the nation and region proud. My colleague Sujal Pradhan brings you the exclusive story around the evolution of futsal in the Himalayan state of Sikkim, straight from the field.
By positive goals to India.
Welcome to yet another segment of the Sports Zone from the field. And today I am bringing you the special story on the futsal and the emerging trend and emerging sports in the state of Sikkim. Recently, a 3-member team from the Sikkim has represented in the Under-20 World Cup futsal, which was held in Colombia. And then during that tournament, the member has performed very well and stood 11th in that World Cup. And this is the same way that not only this, they have also participated in many other tournaments. And this is the way the futsal, the sports of futsal is emerging in the Gangtok. And many now the recently held the C20, something like that. So where do you see the futsal in the Sikkim in next 5 years?
Whatever progress we've done within a year, that is really appreciable. And there are a lot of stages where we can represent ourselves, and in India obviously the footballing thing is really not coming up the way we expected. But then in Sikkim, a state like Sikkim, where there are a lot of people involved into football and futsal right now, so we have a lot of budding talents, and this is the right stage, where we actually could build a proper infrastructure, and according to the rules and regulations and whatever they follow, the kind of football we are supposed to play in a futsal arena, so if everything is properly set up within no time, within 2 years, then I can see a lot of budding talents coming up in this futsal background. And if new players, in Sikkim, I can see a lot of new players, because they also come up from local clubs only. So there are other players, who can actually do really well in this field. So right now I think within 5 years I can see Sikkim coming up really well in the futsal thing.
In order to develop the futsal.
Yeah, that's what, likewise I already told you, this is the only futsal arena, and that too it's a commercial place. So even for hosting tournaments or practicing or whatever we do, we need to pay. So right now, okay, we did manage, we've been managing for the past year, 1 year, more than 1 year, we've been managing with the fundings, that whatever we can contribute from ourselves. But from the state, I would really be thankful to the government, and it would be a very humble request to the CM directly, because if he can suggest some place in and around Gangtok town, it doesn't require a very big stadium, so it can just be one indoor stadium where the futsal thing can be properly built up according to the requirements, and then the Futsal Federation, whatever Futsal Association of Sikkim, we can take over the place, and we can open up an academy, and we can only run over the revenue, whatever can be collected, we can do the maintenance, and send our players abroad, because this game is developing a huge, in a huge scale, actually in the South American countries and even in the European countries. and a lot of other places. This game is really huge. So if we can showcase our talent somewhere in that kind of platform, then obviously these guys can be selected for other clubs abroad, because most of the players in the tournament were all paid players. Only India had to pay for themselves, but then a lot of other clubs and other countries, I had a talk with the coaches, I had a talk with the management team. Everyone is paid there.
What went good and it happened, in particularly in the Gangtok, and they are loving the game.
Actually, futsal was started here itself. This is the only futsal arena in Gangtok right now. So this is a small place. Actually, this was completely an entertainment sort of thing with, people are a little commercially based. But then we did not mind to pay, because this has like shelter. We don't have to go after the rain or lights. We can. It's not some time-consuming game. We can just play for an hour and that'll be enough for the team. So futsal itself, the association has been formed in Sikkim. It's just been a year now, and the way we have progressed as an association in the state as well as in the national stages, everyone was really appreciating the state association, because we've already branded in the senior nationals and even in the under 20 nationals, and we could send our team wherever possible. So the accommodation, everything was sorted out by the association itself. We did not have proper funding from the national or like central anywhere, but still we did manage to send our team abroad. And futsal itself is upcoming in Gangtok, because as you can see, Gangtok is a congested place. We just have one stadium, where that too, like, there'll be a lot of crowd there. So we always host tournaments here, small tournaments, big tournaments, whatever tournaments come up in this particular place. There are a lot of participants, even with a lot of football background. Obviously, most of people in Gangtok are football background sports people only. And the way futsal is coming up in Sikkim as well as in India and all around the world. Futsal is basically a compact game where only 5 players are required in each team. Right? It should be played in an indoor stadium. So likewise, explaining all the drawbacks that we have in a hill station like ours, right, where all the rainy seasons and a lot of other calamities are there so to overcome all this burden, so futsal is a new sport in Sikkim right now, as well as in India. So what I would actually point out here is, according to the infrastructure, whatever we've got in Sikkim right now, this is actually not enough to represent ourselves in that kind of stage. But hoping for the best in the coming futures, we would like to request the government, especially the government, to build an infrastructure where not only the older people can join, but even the young budding people who really are talented in Sikkim, they can showcase their talent here and maybe represent the country in other stages. There are a lot of categories, like this was C20 World Cup. So next is under 12, there's under 14, under 17, senior nationals. So there are various categories where we have the national tournaments in India, and through the national tournaments we get the scouting in the Indian team and can represent India in the bigger stages abroad.
We need to beat, Nicholas, we need to beat India by positive goal to India.
What was your experience during that moment?
Overall experience was very good. Representing country in such a international event is such a proud moment. It feels great to be a part of Indian national futsal team and to participate there.
Okay, why you like futsal?
To give us a well-defined definition about futsal, it's a fast version of football. It's a less time-consuming game. We can play in anywhere in small area. It doesn't occupy such much larger area than football as compared to football. Uh, it's like a weatherproof game. In such an
Okay, you are a futsal player and enthusiast also. So can you tell me why you like futsal, game of futsal?
First of all, because it's a shorter form of the game, so less number of players are required, and hence you don't need a team of 22 to come actually form a team and come and play. So, especially in this busy, scheduled life of almost everyone these days, it becomes easier for a group to gather around and start playing. So, and plus, because of being an indoor thing, it's an all-season playing arena. So because of that, rain is not a constraint. You feel lazy sometimes when it's raining outside. You hesitate to go and play, which Infinity provides you a platform to play in all terrains. So, and it's also because most important is for fitness these days. It was always about fitness, but these days there's this. It's almost become a fashion. Fitness has almost become a fashion. So a lot of people are getting into fitness. So futsal is a game where you're having fun. Your injury quotient is less.
Recently, the game of futsal is emerging as a new sport in the state of Sikkim. It's a tiny state. So, what could be the reason for this? Because it's emerging as a new sport or new game.
Okay, anything new which comes becomes exciting for everyone. So futsal being new for Sikkim, obviously it has garnered a bit of excitement in all ages. In fact, at the beginning it was the elders who were interested, and they were the one who took memberships and such. And right now the younger generation, a lot is coming into it, and I think the enthusiasm comes because it's a sport. So and anything new is always welcomed by the people.
With the very small space in Gangtok, with the only sport that the futsal stadium in Gangtok, Sikkim futsal team has able to represent the team India in the recently held futsal tournament World Cup in Colombia. And this shows that the futsal enthusiasts are rising in Sikkim. With cameraman Binod Tamang, Sujal Pradhan, Sikkim.